Psychology and the soul. The concept of the soul has been a subject of debate and discussion for centuries. From philosophers to theologians, many have tried to define what the soul is and what it means for human existence. As a psychologist, I approach the topic of the soul from a scientific perspective, examining the ways in which our understanding of the soul intersects with our understanding of the mind, consciousness, and identity. First, it's important to clarify what we mean by soul. The term can be used in a variety of ways, and different belief systems and philosophical traditions have their own unique interpretations. Generally speaking, the soul is understood to be the essential, immaterial part of a person that gives them their individuality, consciousness, and moral character. One common view of the soul is that it is a supernatural entity, something that exists beyond the physical realm and is not subject to the laws of science. This view is often associated with religious or spiritual beliefs, and it posits that the soul is eternal and persists even after the body dies. As a psychologist, I do not subscribe to this view of the soul. While I respect people's religious and spiritual beliefs, I believe that it is important to ground our understanding of the human experience in empirical evidence and rational inquiry. From a scientific perspective, there is no evidence to support the existence of a supernatural soul that exists beyond the physical body. However, this does not mean that the concept of the soul is irrelevant to psychology. In fact, I believe that the soul can be understood in psychological terms as a metaphorical representation of our innermost selves. In this sense, the soul is not a physical entity, but rather a way of describing the complex and multifaceted aspects of our identities and personalities. Psychologists have long been interested in understanding the nature of the self, and many theories of personality and identity are based on the idea that there is a core self that is distinct from our external behaviors and experiences. This core self might be seen as analogous to the soul, representing the deepest and most essential aspects of our being. One way that psychologists have explored the concept of the soul is through the study of consciousness. Consciousness is often described as the subjective experience of being aware of one's surroundings and inner mental states. Some philosophers and scientists have argued that consciousness cannot be fully explained by physical processes alone and that there must be some non-physical aspect to it. While there is still much we don't understand about consciousness, many psychologists believe that it is a product of the brain's activity and can be understood in neurobiological terms. However, this does not mean that the experience of consciousness is any less profound or mysterious. In fact, the subjective experience of consciousness is arguably one of the most fascinating and enigmatic aspects of the human experience. Another way that psychologists have explored the concept of the soul is through the study of morality and ethics. Many people believe that the soul is closely tied to our sense of right and wrong and that it is the source of our moral character. While there is no evidence to support the existence of a supernatural soul that gives us our sense of morality, there is ample evidence to suggest that our moral beliefs and behaviors are shaped by a complex interplay of biological, social, and cultural factors. For example, Research has shown that our sense of empathy and compassion is influenced by our genetic makeup, our early childhood experiences, and the social norms and values of our communities. Overall, while the concept of the soul may be controversial and debated, it can still provide a useful framework for understanding the complexity and depth of the human experience. As psychologists, it is our role to explore these concepts in a rigorous and evidence-based way, using the tools of science and rational inquiry to better understand the nature of the self, consciousness, and morality.